I'm in a remote part. I was gonna say the desert Southwest, but I'm technically up in the pine trees. I know a little bit about this area. I know there are ruins throughout this area. And the reason I know there are ruins in this area is because of this map. And I'm gonna try and find this one. The version I have is pretty grainy, so it's hard to see the contours and know exactly where this is, but my guess, judging by the history of this place, where previous ruins have been, they're often up on a ridge. I'm almost to the top, but I ran into a cliff face, so I'm gonna start skirting it until I find a gap that hopefully I could get up. Otherwise, I don't know. So there's potentially a way up here, but without a rope, that's about a 30-40 foot fall. So I'm gonna have to keep going this way. All right, I think I may have found a way up. Let's see what this looks like. Whew. Pretty steep. But if Max can make it, I can make it. All right, I made it to the top. It's about a 500-foot ascent. Wasn't too bad. Luckily, I found a gap between the cliffs. So I started down at that valley floor. I parked right on the tree line right there. I'm not to the highest point yet of this hogback, but I'm getting to an area that's flattening out. So I have hope that I'll see something right up here. Let's see. It'd be cool to just find at least a ring of rocks, some sign that this place was occupied. The advantage of this spot is you have nearly a 360-degree view of the valley. Unfortunately, I don't see anything up here other than a really good view. That's the trouble with these pixelated maps, is you can't really tell exactly where they're at. I've spent 2 days trying to find ruins out here and never did. Have a couple hours hike back, and I know there's stuff out here. I'm gonna keep looking, but on another day. I felt a little bit defeated, but I decided to take a different route back to the truck. I found something and I'm walking up to it. It's nothing big, but I think it's right up here. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I know it's not much, but potsherd, sign of life. It's brownware. It's typical of what is mostly found out here. Cool. I know it's not that big a deal, but it's proof to me that I'm on the right track. As long as I keep exploring this area, I know I'll find something. Wait, look what I'm looking. Look, I think this is, it's not much to look at, but I'm standing. I'm pretty sure this divot here, it's hard to see, but I'm looking at what is probably a pit house, or was a pit house. I know it's hard to tell, but here's the circumference of it. Right there. It's probably 20 feet across. There's flagstone, which could be used for the walls or often the floor. I know it's not much to look at, but if this were to be excavated, I bet there's artifacts down deep. This is a pretty significant pit house. Now that I look at it longer, it's probably 30 feet across. Would have been a big dwelling. It's strange, I stopped for that pottery. I was kind of engrossed in it and didn't realize that I'm right on the edge of a pit house. Oh, wow. I think Max has had enough. Some more of that red clay. The mosquitoes are out, they're eating me alive. It's difficult to see things under these pine needles. I got another mile to get back to my truck, and I don't have a flashlight. Somehow I overlooked that. But all right, at least I found something. Nothing very exciting, but still with signs of ancient life, which is really cool. What is that? Looks like it's a hoof. Want to spend more time here. Hopefully I find time, but it's cool to be able to document. This is definitely a mound of what was a pit house. I'm seeing a lot of pottery. It's a ram. Really smooth inside, very rough outside. Never seen ribs like that. It's hard to see, but some grayware. Mono that has been worn really thin. It's almost like an axe, but it's too lightweight. I'm going to be walking in the dark without a flashlight in a place that I've never been to before. There's too much stuff to look at. What the heck is that? I thought it was a bead, but it's just a very smooth rock. All right, good morning. So I slept in my truck last night and I don't have a lot of time today, but the thing about this area, when you're trying to find sites, it's all under tree cover. So hopping on Google Earth doesn't really give you much advantage. You gotta just get out and hike in it. I know there's not much to see as far as ruins are concerned, but given how many artifacts I just saw laying on the surface, I'm excited to see what I could find today. I'm about a quarter mile from the site yesterday, and I'm already starting to see the remnants of other pit houses. It's not much to look at. It's very hard to see, but here's the perimeter of it. Faintly see the contours that I'm talking about. This tree is almost the center of it. You could see the rim here, and the outer edge goes here. So it's about 30 feet in circumference, and just outside of it, I'm going to walk you over to it, is this mound that doesn't look natural. All around it I thought were pit houses, but what I'm wondering is if they weren't pit houses and instead they were remnants of the holes that were excavated to build up this mound. And what's inside this mound, I don't know. Is this a sacred mound of some sort, a ritual mound, or was it built up to make a tower? I know that there are a lot of towers in this area. But it is unusual for there to be a tower that doesn't have a view. This one seems to be hidden behind the tree line. Here is what looks like a pit house, and there's the mound. So this earth was excavated, most likely pushed up to build that mound. So I'm going to continue on from this site and try and get to the site I found yesterday. So that is the hogback that I was hiking yesterday. I hiked across that ridge there and then dropped down as it ends over here and came through the forest to where I am now. And right over here is the first pit house that I found. That's the center of it. See those grooves there? One groove. Must have been the rim, the top of it there. It's really thick. Brownware, decorated brownware. See that X there? This is the area here, the mound, where I'm finding the most artifacts. Here's a mono, piece of a mono, broken in half. This one is so gritty, it's so porous. Can't help but think that how much of this broke off and got into the corn It makes me think of how tough life must have been to eat corn that was full of that much grit, how damaging it was to their teeth, how by age 30, if you were lucky enough to live that long, you maybe didn't have much of your teeth left. Wow, that is the thickest piece I've ever found. I think that's the very bottom of a conical shaped bowl. It could be the sidewall, or it could be the bottom. There's one particular thing with the pottery out here that separates it from a lot of the pottery in the Southwest. And out here, they use conical shaped pottery. So cone shaped at the bottom. Oh, that's really, really smooth. Mono. Worked on both sides. That's an odd one. So that's the base of the jar, and it's got a concaved bottom. There's the bottom rim. Oh yeah, look. Wow, that's cool. It's made out of a more porous stone. It doesn't quite have the weight of an axe, nor the refinement of an axe. But I bet this was a hoe. You can see the grooves, both sides. That's pretty cool. All right, so I finally moved on from there, and I keep finding sites. So this thing is pretty cool. It's not just a rock, it is polished smoother than the riverbed could do it, almost like hands and leather have worn it into a fine polish. It's extremely smooth. And this is about the fourth or fifth one I've found. I'm up in the pines, and it's a river rock, so it doesn't belong up here. It's come from a riverbed somewhere. I just wonder what they use these for. All right, I know it's not complete, but it's a remnant of, well, tell me what you think. All right, I gotta let you go. Wow. Coming across that just really, it made the whole trip worth it. It's funny how sometimes you spend days out exploring, trying to find some ruin, some dwelling, some artifact, and oftentimes you find it last minute on the way back to the truck. So I know I didn't find the coolest stuff on this trip, but I did find signs of ancient human life, and that was my goal. I'm gonna add this to my list and hopefully get back here, but there's just so much to explore that sadly, this may be my last time here. And I feel like I'm leaving so many stones unturned, but that is the nature of every place that we visit. It seems like we just need to spend more time there, and maybe it will tell us its secrets, but eventually we accept the fact that it won't, and we have to move on. So here I am officially moving on from this place.